Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a modern fantasy epic, a story packed with magic, betrayal, and a hero who's caught between two totally different worlds. And that question? It is right at the heart of the story we're talking about today. It all starts thousands of years ago with a desperate choice born from fear, a choice that would end up unleashing a terrible evil upon the world.
All right, so to really get this, we've got to go back. We're going to set the stage with this ancient betrayal, a single act of treachery that cursed the land and really set our entire story in motion.
So picture this. Thousands of years ago, you've got this good wizard, but he's terrified of dying. So what does he do? He forges a magic sword to make himself immortal. But his apprentice Kos gets overcome with greed and, well, he attacks his master to steal that power for himself. This one act shows you how that hunger for power, even one born from fear, can corrupt absolutely everything. It traps the wizard underground, his quest for revenge poisoning the very earth, while Kos is left to live with an eternal curse.
Okay, so now let's meet our hero, Ivan. And I've got to tell you, he is not your typical fairy tale prince, not even close.
So Ivan is a total fish out of water, right? To keep him safe when he was just a kid, his dad sent him to our world, London, to be exact. So he grew up with all the modern stuff, washing machines, you name it. He is way more comfortable with a smartphone than he is with a magic sword. And this whole background, it's really the core of the story, because Ivan is constantly trying to dodge the huge responsibilities of his magical birthright. And yeah, trying to avoid your destiny, it always has consequences. That evil from the trapped wizard, it seeps out and curses two sisters, turning them into these super powerful witches. Their mission? Get that magic sword. So they launch this massive attack on the capital, White City, right in the middle of a tournament. And here's the kicker, the really critical part. All of Ivan's little trips back and forth to London have actually drained the sword's power, leaving his entire kingdom wide open and vulnerable. So the city is falling apart. His own soldiers are being turned against him by dark magic. The king realizes the sword is useless. So he gives his son this one last, desperate command. It forces our reluctant prince onto a quest he never, ever wanted, with just a small group of loyal friends by his side. Their goal sounds simple enough, but the path to get there? Anything but. To save the kingdom, they have to go to a place that no one has ever returned from alive. So the mission is crystal clear. Figure out how to defeat an enemy who literally cannot die. And the only way to get that kind of info is to travel to the Deadland, this mythical place where, supposedly, you can talk to spirits, and if they're lucky, uncover the wizard's one and only weakness.
And this journey, it's pure epic fantasy. First, they have to escape their pursuers using this crazy magic illusion. Then they travel on the back of a giant flying whale. Yeah, you heard that right. And then they have to pass this trial set by a talking mountain, which Ivan, to his credit, cleverly manages to outsmart. I mean, this whole trip is just one test after another, pushing their courage and their wits to the absolute limit.
So inside the mountain, Ivan finds the spirit of his dad, but he's not alone. The spirit of Kos, the original traitor, is right there with him. And here's where things get really interesting. After 5,000 years, Kos is completely over being immortal. He sees it as a curse, and he actually wants to help them defeat the wizard, just so he can finally break his own torment and find some peace. But Ivan's journey, it takes a really dark turn here. He secretly starts eating these magic berries that give him temporary super strength. And just like all the villains who came before him, he gets tempted by a shortcut to power. He gets arrogant, reckless, and he leads the whole group right into a trap. Of course, the magic wears off, his lies exposed, and the witch Varvara snags the sword. Ivan loses the one thing he swore he would protect. So it seems like all is lost, right? Ivan is disgraced, the sword is gone, the heroes are defeated. But in all that chaos and betrayal, fate decides to give our hero one last chance to make things right. So the witches immediately turn on each other. Varvara decides she wants the sword's power for herself, not for her master. In the middle of their fight, the sword gets lost. But then we see this other theme pop up, finding strength in the most unexpected places. An unlikely ally, this little monster they'd captured earlier, finds the sword and returns it to a totally defeated Ivan. This sets the stage for the final showdown. So now, armed with the sword and with that crucial piece of information from Kos, Ivan and his friends are racing back to White City. They really believe they finally have the answer to ending this 1,000-year-old threat for good. So Kos tells them what they think is the wizard's weakness. His life force is tied to the very stone that's been imprisoning him. The plan? Smash the stone, destroy the wizard. It seems almost too simple, doesn't it? Ivan reaches the stone. He raises the magic sword, but at the very last second, Koza's memory comes flooding back and he remembers the devastating truth. It wasn't about destroying the stone, it was about keeping it intact. But it is too late. Ivan strikes. The stone shatters, and the evil wizard is unleashed upon the world, more powerful than ever before.
So in the face of this complete and total disaster, a disaster he caused, with the wizard free and stronger than ever, Ivan finally has to stop running from his destiny. He has to dig deep and discover the true source of his power.
And this freed wizard, he's practically a god. He's drawing limitless energy right from the ground beneath his feet, which makes him totally invincible. He just swats the heroes aside and starts burying them alive in the earth, taking back his kingdom.
And this is where we see Ivan's true genius finally shine through. He realizes he doesn't have to overpower the wizard. No, instead, he embraces the one thing that always made him an outsider, his connection to our modern world. He just has to change the battlefield.
And in this stunning final move, Ivan uses the sword not to fight, but to escape. He rips open a portal and drags the wizard right into the middle of modern-day Moscow. And just like that, the wizard is cut off from his power source by all the asphalt and concrete. His greatest strength becomes his greatest weakness. He's powerless, and he just crumbles to dust. So the wizard is gone, but his final words just hang in the air like a curse, a chilling promise that this fight might not really be over.
Ivan returns as a hero. He finally accepts his role, and he transforms from this reluctant boy into a true king. But the story leaves us wondering, right? The wizard is defeated, but his final threat still lingers. Has Ivan's true test of responsibility only just begun?